Hello, buddy. Welcome back to Let's Play HOI4 Kaiserreich invading government. So I did reload. Moment of truth. Did that fix it? No, it did not. Okay. Maybe I had to quit and reload. A matter of occupation. The occupations are never easy or simple, but the average Chinese soldier is often little better than a bandit with marching orders. Already our troops have begun burning, looting, and defiling at the same time the villages that our government claims to be liberating. Some would say that we should let the troops have their fun, but now the Grand Marshal Zhang Xiaolin is again competing on the national stage, we must consider his image. He was once abandoned himself, and many here in the south have a hard time showing respect to or taking orders from a former criminal. Already the elite have turned up their noses, and while force might be an easy answer, we do need the intellectual landlord businessmen to go forward with our greater aims. It is these figures from who we must rule. Fortunately, our logistics systems is sufficient to feed our soldiers, meaning our men are not looting for survival, but nonetheless they are unhappy if kept from what they see as their right by conquest. We are not bandits. We get less penalty from you. We're going to take an organization penalty for about half of a year. Get free units off of you. But you know what? We're not bandits anymore. I'm the legitimate government of China, okay? We're not bandits. They did take Taojin again, but we can probably take it back. Does occupying the same territory twice count for more score? Again, it's not like it really matters for the reason that we have the player-led peace conferences mod on. But I'm just a little curious by it. Okay, move you guys through here. To here. One guy can resist that. Again, I want to take this city. It is worth 20 victory points, quite a bit. Okay, also, my question is, do we need to, we don't own this province. So yeah, we're technically controller. We do need to actually kill the Qing before we can do anything more with that. 16 oil. Give me that. Why do you keep removing my factories here? I would like an explanation, please. I don't think we're going to get one, though. Push you here. Shangshi's doing okay. I mean, the Qing do have a handful of small cities. Push you forward. Have you push you forward like this. And we're just going to try to do as much damage as we possibly can. Move here, you move here, you move here. Move one province down. Don't fight Shaanxi if we don't have to. It's probably not worth it. I mean, more factories. I think we should more rifles, because we're going to need a large army in the upcoming war. Because just because we kill the Qing does not mean the war in China is over. Not by like a long shot. Yeah, you move here. You can move there. Fight this Qing cavalry. Don't let him get too far here. Yeah, and keep on pushing. We'll get soon to the border with the KMT. Wuhan has now fallen to the nationalist, I assume. Yes, they have. And the Qing are actually already dead. I'm kind of amazed by that, honestly. And thank you for the equipment, though. I'm very happy. The Qing government has collapsed. Qing's government, Wuhan government is finished. In the end, the Qing government's desperate decision to relocate their capital to Wuhan made little difference. And already the country looks again to Beijing as the national capital, as it has been for over 4 centuries. However, the unification of Wuchan, Hankou, and Hanyang under one administration, however brief, cannot be easily undone. The 3 cities have already been drifting together for decades, now seem inseparable. We can keep Wuhan at 20. Okay, so I guess they just change power here. And then you make them 3 separate cities. I don't care. Just keep in 1 city. That seems fine. But now, we need to put our troops over here. Move you over there. I'm going to keep the White Army on the border with the KMT, because I'm more scared of KMT than I am of Shaanxi. Secure Beijing. Okay, I mean, we've already done so. We'll abort if... Railway chaos in... Wait, no. Railway chaos in Zhangzhou. Apparently, as soon as our troops see Zhangzhou, they descended into the railway station. At the heart of the nation, railway network in wartime, and perhaps due to our enemy's dogged attempt to defend it, the tracks were crowded with rolling stock, full to the brim with refugees belonging and war material. Looting began almost immediately, but fortunately some of our officers were able to limit the activity to only half of all rail cars, with the officers themselves only taking a further quarter. Consequently, what might have turned into a logistical disaster, where looting rolling stocks blocked the tracks for days, became a relatively orderly affair that left at least something behind for the city's residents. Okay, so I mean we've had some issues there, but that's not so bad when you put it like that. And finish the army reforms, absolutely. Oh, we can actually build a second army. Well, that actually gives us 3 free divisions. I'd be happy with that. Yeah, we need to put these troops on the border with the KMT. Apparently they didn't get that much territory. I'm not even too sure like why they didn't. I'm guessing we are just considered having done the most damage and we own their capital. But you know, how Hearts of Iron 4 wants to decide these things is sometimes a mystery for everybody involved. So the Unification Conference will begin in a few days. Again, I want it to succeed. If we can get the unification, I think that'd be something I don't think we've really seen before in the past. Of course, we're still at war with you, but what can you do? The soldier at Baodong. Disturbing reports have begun to emerge from the Baodong Army Military Academy. Company of our soldiers recently captured and occupied. As a military target, which had the enemy held for over a week, damage to the building was expected, as was some degree of looting. But few expected to hear of our men killing one another over the spoils. Supposedly, the institution's store of medals and rank insignia was discovered shortly after its capture, including several self-declared colonels, majors, and generals, each belonging to a variety of self-awarded honorable orders. These men, completely ignorant of the actual standing granted by the Regalia, began to fight over they're fighting over who's actually in charge. By the time troops arrived from elsewhere to relieve the actual commander, the outside soldiers had split into a number of cliques in different parts of the academy, and several dozen were dead. Okay. Good work, team. You've accomplished a lot. Thank you also, KMT, for 5 sport equipment. I do genuinely appreciate it. I'll take also the city while we're here. Of course, the Shang-Chi is technically considered a major power. We need to get them killed first. Bandits against bandits. Troops recently seized Liaoyang along with most of Henan province. Most of the province's major cities. But the curing and countryside has proven another matter. Banditry has a long history in Henan, and despite nearly a decade of Zili rule, this problem never truly went away. Majority were simply incorporated into Wu Pufu's armies. Now we're sweeping across the provincial's rural regions, having defected to our side, having begun claiming the spoils of the war they never won. Our own troops have stepped in to quell the violence, but thoroughly combing Henan's hills and riversides will take time and energy, neither of which our troops would prefer to spend. In all likelihood, band activity will resume again for some time in the future, and everywhere already stolen is now in the hands of our own troops. A disaster at the day's mined, or has been mined for a day for over 2,000 years, and today iron from its depths feed the fires of modern industry in Wuhan, Haibu, and further Yangtze. God stop our soldiers, who upon hearing rumors that gold had been found there, plundered the mine, and in their disappointment at finding nothing of the sort, collapsed its entrance, trapping over 100 miners inside. A rescue effort had been proposed, but such expense is widely considered wasted on common laborers. Those responsible for the disaster, meanwhile, have deserted and are nowhere to be found. Well, let's begin the rescue operation. Because I'm different. I'm not the Qing. What do you want me to do? War propaganda against Shang-Chi. We do not need war propaganda. We probably have, actually, we could use war propaganda. We're only at 76% war support. New economic minister. You are construction speed for stuff I don't really care about. I'm gonna say no to you for the moment. How's our balance? I should check that. Concordia is a little bit low. But as long as I think they dip below 10% for the actual major penalties to really kick in. You have 10 to 77, 14 to 59. The National Reunification Conference. Having broken through the Shanghai Pass, our army sent shockwaves across the nation when they seized the city of Beijing. Once again, the 5-color flag flies above the city. With this victory, we have taken a major step towards national unification and resumed our role as active contender for national leadership. Intending to seize the moment, Marshal Zheng has ordered his staff to begin assembling a plan for peaceful unification of China, put in the motion and, more importantly, agreed upon. It would see the remaining provinces of China unite without further bloodshed, raising the legitimacy of our government immeasurably. The plan is not without its opponents, of course, as some politicians doubt the undertaking of this scale can be accomplished, while some members of the military believe that diplomacy will only prevent the formation of a strong central authority and leave the country again united in name only. We must carefully consider this decision, The stroke of a pen here could be a further impact than any order the old marshal has given in his long and storied career. Okay, so at least 3 people need to agree. And we come. Oh, there we go. Thank you. We've completed our last railroad line. Assuming there's not more showing up, which I don't believe there is. And when are you done? 89 days. Okay. So we just need 3 countries to agree. I don't know. I mean, who would actually want to agree? I don't know. I mean, we'll see. If people want to join, I would be happy for them to show up. Announced by the Qing government. Despite nobody, the warlords who fiercely bet on the Manchu, are announcing our attempt to unite China under our banner, citing every ridiculous reason between heaven and earth to justify their allegations against us. If they're calling us warmongering criminals or accusing us of being merely Japanese cronies, evidently they're far more interested in bickering over what they lost when the Manchu fell from their prominence rather than uniting for the good of China. Our forces into the capital of Shaanxi. We're 89% with you. I don't think you're moving your way into the capital, which I'm happy with. The enemy to the south. In response to a recently announced plan to hold a conference for unification, the KMT representative have publicly announced and declared that the party will boycott our... yeah, that's not surprising. Announcing us as warlords, bandits, and Japanese running dogs. They're already calling for the conference illegitimate and intend to ignore whatever negotiated document it might produce. It should surprise no one that the radicals who only goal is to uproot all of China's traditions and culture have no interest in seeing reason. Okay, so that's 1 down. Do any of the other governments want to maybe be friends? I have a feeling at this point it's going to fail. I mean, we already knew that Chen in the past did deny one of our attempts at being friendly. Oda returns to Zili province. After troops swept across Zili province, the majority of the population braced themselves for a wave of indiscriminate violence. But, despite a few unavoidable incidents, our troops had largely kept to the code of conduct set out by Marshal Zhang. Some stubborn figures have attributed the surprise to Fengtian's advanced system of logistics, which reduced the need for our armies to live out the land. Instead of just praising Zhang himself, even they cannot ignore results, and this performance will go a long way towards earning the nation's trust. See, I am great. Beating the North China Plain. As we expected our authority in the newly reclaimed areas, we must ensure that they too do their part in the march towards unification. Unfortunately, the North China Plain is densely populated and consumes more food than it produces, turning otherwise richly taxable land into a drain on the resources. Unfortunately, thanks to the Soy Agriculture Initiative, a great deal of northeastern grain produce has been replaced with soy cash crops. If we have enough food to feed the northeast, we can't even begin to think about shipping food elsewhere. Okay, excellent. We're losing national legitimacy. Japan demands observer status. The Japanese ambassador recently contacted us with a polite but firm request to lead observer's delegation at the National Unification Conference. It's saying that merely they intend to oversee the development of our Asian affairs at the historic turning point. We, of course, will welcome our friends from Tokyo with open arms. Okay, that seems like it's not great. Does it say anywhere, by the way, what our legitimacy actually is? I don't believe so. At least not right now. You know what? Don't attack here, because you'd like to just retreat into the capital, which I would prefer to avoid. Order returns to Henan. After some inevitable violence, a wave of all too familiar banditry, Henan has settled back to relative normalcy. At least that's over. And should we invite Chen Jiaoming? Chen Jiaoming is one of relatively few individuals who can claim to operate at the highest level of national politics, and from his stronghold in the South, he has remained a Federalist movement leading figure for over 2 decades. Chen Jiaoming's ideal and our government practices have relatively little in common, but there is room for compromise. Chen's presence would grant the Federalists a major say in the conference's outcome, but not allowing him to attend could make the process seem illegitimate to some. I will send him the invite, because I'm nice. By the time our men broke through to trap miners at Dayet, all had perished. While this is certainly not the outcome we were hoping for, the fact that our men tried at all has been received well by the local community, and more importantly, by national newspapers. Okay, so they all died, but again, we tried. We didn't succeed. But that's better than previous governments might otherwise do. We can kill you off now. And now your capital's over here in Yunnan. Shouldn't be too bad to kill them off. There's also a lot of KMT troops around here, which I'm a little bit scared by. Can I move my way? Actually, they just took that city, which means that Shaanxi is very much dead. And that the war here is over. So what do we want to do? Well, boom, 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 boom. Okay, well, we're going to take all this territory that the game kind of nicely granted us. So I think we'll take this land here. Actually, we'll take, yeah, again, give me everything the game thinks I should have. So we'll take this land. The KMT can have these two provinces to the south, and we're going to give the Xiaoming government the last two provinces here. And I'm going to put these units, for right now, we'll put them on this line. Again, you're exiled, but that's not going to last for too much longer. Okay, so what else can we do now? Establish administration reignition concessions. Integrate Shaanxi. Can't integrate you quite yet, but Shaanxi is worth a lot of victory, or a lot of political power, so it's probably a little bit better to get them on side first. And can we deploy more units? Yes, we could, and we have a lot of guns, so I'll definitely take it. You know what? Give me. We can have 8 more units. Deploy them where we can. I'm happy the war's over. The Gauts arrived. Delegates from Yunnan, Sichuan, and my Clique, Kamul, and Liang have begun to arrive in Beijing for the Unification Conference. So did he show up? Zhao. Okay, so from Yunnan, my Clique, Sichuan, who I think is you. Yeah, Sichuan, Yunnan, my Clique, Kamul, and Liang, which is you. Right? Are you not the allowed on Clique? I don't know. Welcome anyways. At least had enough people show up. That's nice. And the conference has begun. With the arrival of delegates, the Unification Conference is now officially started with an opening ceremony befitting such a landmark event. After a brief address of the old marshal himself, welcoming those attending and underscoring the importance of this historic gathering, the delegates go to their seats. With this promising start, negotiations over the coming days will soon be, no doubt, a challenge. Japan's going to war in Korea. Whatever, I don't really care. And the question of constitution. At the conference started, the first order of the day was proposed the creation of a new constitution. The proposal would clearly outline the rights and powers given to both the people and the government. Not everyone is pleased. Chen Jiaoming has respectfully proven to be a full-throated critic of the proposal in private form, which he claims would grant too much power to the nation's executive. Instead, he would propose restoration of the suspended 1923 constitution, which is widely considered China's most liberal to date. The Federalist bloc quickly lined behind Chen, and this will no doubt remain a thorny issue in the conference as it goes on. I'm fine going back to that conference, or going back to that constitution. And a disagreement with the Federalists. Disagreements over the Constitution have been the central floor for the conference virtually since its start. And now the Federalists have joined the other delegates who, while they may not share the same concerns as the Federalists, have used this opportunity to gain some of the more minor concerns addressed. While they would likely have accepted the proposed constitution as it was, the staunch opposition mounted by the Federalists over the issue has allowed them to join forces and form a sizable, albeit informal, opposition bloc in the conference halls. Large enough to hold up the rest of the conference, and it seems that proceeding has stalled until either side budgets or offers a compromise. I will absolutely compromise with the Federalists. You know what? What if I become president? And you know what, Chen Jiaoming? I'll make you vice president. Or, you know, whatever else could work. A compromise is proposed. After days of vigorous debate, a compromise is finally reached between the parties, which they now presenting to us. The 1923 constitution will be broadly restored as it was, but with clear checks on the weakened executive along with the centralized army. To accept this compromise, Chen Jiaoming demands the position of prime minister under Zhang Zhaolin as president. Under this proposal, Zhang Zhaolin will get the title of Grand Marshal of the Army. While it's a tough pill to swallow, it's unlikely they'll get a much better deal out of them. As such, many in our camp are suggesting that we accept it as even a handful of defections could give their bloc majority. Others are, however, insisting that we should call for the Federalist bluff and that Chen's demand to be prime minister unreasonable. I honestly don't think they're that unreasonable. You've declared war on the KMT. Okay, that's fine. The matter of concessions. As the conference has continued, the matter of foreign concessions have hung over proceedings like a dark cloud. In principle, all factions are united in their opposition to foreign imperialism. However, virtually the parties at the table have been dealing with foreigners in the past, and none more closely than Zhang Zhaolin, whose administration in Shenzhen has been beset by a stark reality of the Japanese power for some time now. Zhang may be openly opposed to Western imperialism, but even now, Japanese observers are privy to unification conferences in every debate and backroom deal. Now, the Federalists led by Chen Jiaoming have publicly demanded that Zhang Zhaolin openly denounce Japanese imperialism. just as he had in the Western powers. While the nature of Chen's demand has put the old marshal in a tough spot, and it seems the matter cannot remain unaddressed for much longer. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quietly pull a blue army off this front, and I'm just going to quickly put him in Korea. But I at least think that for right now, this is going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, my thumbs up. Not enjoy, click them down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.